Have you ever noticed how on certain days your mind seems to fire like lightning, instantly absorbing everything around you? This phenomenon, often unexpected, is a secret that few know, and even fewer know how to unlock. But what if I told you that this extraordinary ability can be accessed daily? Yes, you heard right. It's not just a trick of the mind or a fluke. There's a science behind this overwhelming mental clarity, and it can be yours right now. Stay with us and uncover the mystery behind your brain's superpower. Discover how to activate this hidden energy and turn every day into an exceptional learning and productivity experience. The answer will surprise you. This variation in our mental and physical state is intrinsically linked to multiple factors. Stoic philosophy, for example, emphasizes the importance of perception and internal response to external events. According to it, it's not the events themselves that affect us, but how we interpret them. Thus, on days when our disposition and mental clarity are high, we are, in a way, applying Stoic principles. Even if unconsciously, we're interpreting the world around us more efficiently and less disturbed by negative emotions or distractions. This state of clarity and focus can be attributed to a number of factors, from a good night's sleep, balanced nutrition, to a more balanced and less anxious mental state. Stoic wisdom teaches us that it is possible to cultivate this state of alertness and clarity through practices like daily reflection, meditation, and the exercise of virtue. By practicing mindfulness and moderation, we can enhance our ability to maintain this state of mental clarity and focus, regardless of external circumstances. Thus, by reflecting on these more lucid and productive days, we can seek to understand what contributed to this state and how we can cultivate it more often. Through a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us, guided by Stoic principles of perception, response, and virtue, we can aspire to a more focused, clear, and ultimately more full and meaningful life. On the other hand, there are days when we face the opposite, a striking difficulty in concentrating. In these moments, we feel exhausted, almost unable to maintain focus on any activity. Cognitive tasks, even the most routine ones, become challenging, and we are confronted with the harsh reality of a mind that seems to operate at reduced capacity. This state of mental fatigue can be triggered by various factors. Sleep deprivation, chronic stress, poor diet, or even a lack of regular physical exercise can contribute to this sensation of mental tiredness. In a world that is increasingly fast-paced and saturated with information, it's not uncommon to find ourselves in this state of exhaustion. Stoic philosophy, with its ancient wisdom, offers us some perspectives on how to deal with these challenging periods. According to it, we must accept that not every day will be productive or clear. Instead of resisting this reality, we can embrace it, understanding that it's part of human nature to have highs and lows. Acceptance doesn't mean passivity, but rather a deep understanding that there are times for action and times for rest. Moreover, Stoic teachings encourage us to reflect on our habits and routines. It may be that, upon examining our lifestyle, we find areas that need adjustments, whether it's improving sleep quality, managing stress more effectively, or nourishing our body and mind with what is truly beneficial. In summary, these days of reduced cognitive capacity are an invitation for introspection and readjustment. They remind us of the importance of taking care of ourselves holistically, body, mind, and spirit, and offer us the opportunity to practice resilience and adaptation, fundamental pillars of Stoic wisdom. By approaching these days with understanding and care, we can learn a great deal about ourselves and, over time, improve our ability to navigate both the days of clarity and those of mental fog. These fluctuations in our state of energy and motivation, regardless of the physical or intellectual activities undertaken, are truly intriguing. Interestingly, tiredness can set in even after seemingly calm days, without significant exertion. On the other hand, there are days when, despite an exhausting schedule, we feel surprisingly motivated and full of energy. This phenomenon can be explained by a variety of factors that transcend the simple cause and effect relationship between activity and fatigue. The influences can be both psychological and physiological. In psychological terms, mood and motivation do not depend solely on the level of physical or cognitive activity. They can be strongly influenced by factors such as emotional well-being, stress level, the quality of social interactions, and even satisfaction with the activities performed. For instance, engaging in work that we find meaningful or rewarding can energize us, even if it is physically or intellectually challenging. Similarly, a lack of stimulation or dissatisfaction with everyday activities can lead to a feeling of fatigue, even in the absence of substantial efforts. From a physiological standpoint, factors such as hormonal imbalances, nutritional issues, or variations in the sleep cycle can have a significant impact on our energy level, regardless of the activities performed. For example, an unbalanced diet or a poor night's sleep can affect our energy far more than the physical or mental effort of a typical day. These considerations bring us back to Stoic wisdom, which encourages us to look beyond appearances and to seek a deeper understanding of our experiences. Recognizing that our energy and motivation are influenced by a complex web of factors, many of which are beyond our direct control, can help us cultivate a deeper acceptance of our internal fluctuations. At the same time, this does not prevent us from taking proactive steps to improve our overall well-being, whether by taking better care of our physical health, nurturing our mental health, or seeking activities that provide us with satisfaction and purpose. Therefore, these variations in our disposition and motivation serve as valuable reminders of the complexity of the human experience and the need for holistic care of ourselves, encompassing body, mind, and spirit. If you're enjoying this, don't miss out on the opportunity. Purchase the ebook now, Stoicism in the 21st Century, Ancient Strategies for Modern Challenges, and unlock your prosperity, abundance, and improve your relationships with this ebook. Link in the pinned comment. It's crucial to understand that our sense of tiredness is not always a direct reflection of our recent workload. Intriguingly, even with a moderate workload, we can find ourselves inexplicably exhausted. This fatigue, seemingly emerging from nowhere or persistently lingering, can often be attributed to two common, yet often unnoticed behaviors. These behaviors, while seemingly trivial, play a fundamental role in our constant sensation of exhaustion. To delve deeper into this topic, a brief foray into the field of neuroscience and neurobiology is essential. Our brain, like other physiological systems of our body, is equipped with sophisticated self-regulation mechanisms. These mechanisms are vital for maintaining internal balance and function through something known in physiology as inhibitory feedback loops. Although the complexity of these terms may seem intimidating, a basic understanding of them is essential. These loops are not unique to other bodily systems. The brain also possesses them, regulating its activity and maintaining a functional balance. This cerebral regulation is a key factor in our sensation of fatigue. The interaction of these self-regulation mechanisms with the two behaviors we often adopt can shed light on the persistent sense of tiredness that many experience. Let's explore these behaviors and their relationship with brain functioning more deeply to better understand how they contribute to chronic tiredness. One of the brain's regulatory loops is closely linked to our state of alertness. To understand this in a simplified and educational way, consider that throughout the day, as we engage in activities that require thought, such as studying, problem-solving, managing emotions, communicating, and other daily tasks, the brain remains active. This state of continuous brain activity results in the release of various substances that accumulate in the brain over the day. These substances, generated by brain activity, act as a signal to the brain, indicating the need for nightly rest. Interestingly, while the brain works, it produces a substance that eventually acts to inhibit its own activity. This cerebral inhibition is, in theory, what leads to sleep. Therefore, the pressure to sleep intensifies as we engage in activities during the day, culminating in tiredness and fatigue by evening, leading many people to seek sleep earlier. During sleep, especially in the deep sleep stages, a process occurs that can be described as brain cleaning. This cleaning is performed by cerebrospinal fluid, a fluid present in the central nervous system. This process is vital for removing all the accumulated substances and theoretically is what allows us to wake up refreshed the next day. Therefore, sleep is not just a period of rest, but also a crucial time for the maintenance and recovery of brain health. The challenge arises when certain seemingly innocuous everyday behaviors end up interfering with this essential brain signaling. This disruption is comparable to a failure in the process of removing beneficial and natural substances that accumulate in the body. To illustrate, think of a weight training session. As you do more repetitions, your muscles begin to hurt due to the buildup of specific substances. If there was no muscle fatigue, you could continue exercising until causing a severe injury. The brain operates in a similar way. The accumulation of these substances is a protective mechanism encouraging nightly rest. If you've made it this far, leave a comment with your favorite quote, regardless of the book or belief. If you're enjoying this, subscribe and hit the like button. Let's keep going. However, certain actions can inhibit this natural mechanism. One of them, quite common and perhaps a practice you yourself adopt, is the excessive consumption of caffeine. Overexposure to caffeine is often observed in people with anxiety or sleep problems. In many cases, this is due to the continuous and exaggerated use of caffeine, with the person consuming it incessantly throughout the day in an attempt to combat tiredness. This habit, in turn, interferes with sleep, resulting in feeling fatigued upon waking the next day, and thus, to combat this tiredness, more caffeine is consumed, creating a vicious cycle that keeps the person in a state of chronic fatigue. Therefore, it is essential to recognize and adjust these behaviors to allow the brain to perform its self-regulation function effectively, promoting a healthy sleep-wake cycle and, consequently, reducing the chronic sensation of tiredness. It is indeed intriguing to observe how the suggestion to reduce coffee consumption to improve sleep can seem paradoxical to someone who feels constantly tired. This dilemma points to the complexity of the relationship between our habits and the underlying neurobiology. The key is in understanding the amount of coffee consumed and how caffeine influences the brain. For a more in-depth understanding, it is advisable to seek reliable information and, if necessary, consult a specialist for appropriate guidance. In addition to excessive caffeine consumption, another behavior that likely contributes to chronic fatigue is excessive exposure to stimuli. Many of us live in a constant state of informational overload, a kind of mental obesity. In this condition, we feel an unrelenting need to always be informed and connected, checking social networks like Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, as well as news, instant messaging groups like WhatsApp and Telegram. This deluge of stimuli keeps our alert system in constant hyperactivity, creating a vicious cycle of stress and tiredness. This continuous hyperstimulation can be extremely draining for the brain, leading to a state where rest becomes more difficult. The mind seems unable to slow down, and quality sleep becomes an elusive achievement. Therefore, just as it is important to monitor and moderate caffeine intake, it is equally crucial to be aware of daily exposure levels to stimuli and seek ways to reduce them. By adopting these practices, one can create an environment more conducive to adequate rest and, consequently, relief from chronic tiredness. The comparison of this behavior to obsessive-compulsive disorder is pertinent, although, as you mentioned, it doesn't necessarily indicate the presence of this disorder. What occurs is the formation of a routine marked by obsessive-compulsive thoughts and behaviors, where the mind is dominated by the incessant need to stay informed, fearing to miss something important. This compulsion to always check for information can negatively affect various aspects of life, including sleep, eating, physical exercise, and social relationships. Continuous hyperstimulation transforms the person into a being eager for new information and stimuli, which can result in a chronic state of tiredness. The brain, without adequate opportunities to slow down and relax, remains in a state of constant alert. It is essential to recognize this pattern and establish limits for the consumption of information and digital stimuli, aiming to improve the quality of sleep and overall well-being. Dopamine, a vital neurotransmitter, plays a crucial role in this scenario. Excessive use of digital devices can lead to chronic hyperstimulation of dopamine, which results in an increased perception of tiredness. Therefore, it's important to adopt two practices. Firstly, moderating the consumption of substances like caffeine, which is a potent psychostimulant. This moderation is essential to allow the brain to rest properly. Secondly, it's vital to create a healthy balance in exposure to digital and informational stimuli, seeking activities that promote relaxation and disconnection, such as hobbies, physical exercises, or simply moments of quietude. By implementing these practices, one can alleviate chronic tiredness and promote a more sustainable state of well-being. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the video to support our work. Thank you.